Welcome to the Commit podcast, a space for the voices of civil societies. In this podcast, we explore stories and challenges that civil society around the world are navigating, whether through advocacy, care, creativity, or resistance. Today, we begin in Ukraine, a country and its people under attack. In February 2022, Russia launched a full-scale invasion of Ukraine, triggering the largest military conflict in Europe since World War II. The invasion upended daily life, devastated cities, and created one of the most urgent humanitarian crises of our time. The ongoing attacks have also sparked a historic mobilization of Ukrainian civil society. These efforts are becoming a model for grassroots resilience, adaptability, and solidarity. We are talking about people stepping in where systems fall short. It is about preserving the very fabric of society in the face of aggression. Natalia Trambowecka, a non-formal education trainer from Ukraine, explains.
We have only one front. It's about army, it's about military. But if we are talking about common efforts, it's really about volunteers, NGOs, even stand-up comics, a lot of artists, a lot of people, a lot of organizations try to raise money, try to help with world challenges. So it looks like one society.
My name is Malwina Fendrych, and I've been listening to stories from Ukraine since 2014. That was the year Russia forcibly annexed Crimea. Since then, I focused on organizing and supporting civil society programs in Ukraine and other countries as communication and projects lead at the NGO Commit. In this episode, we hear from people who are living that reality every day, from veterans to NGO and philanthropy representatives to artists, from those who stayed to those who left the country and continued the work in exile. Ukraine is learning hard, unwanted lessons, and in turn it is teaching the world what it means to be resilient in the face of destruction and loss, what it means to care fearlessly and creatively, what it means to adapt, live, and rebuild amid chaos and uncertainty.
What does it mean today not to leave Ukraine alone? What have I done? What is my personal role? How can I readjust my compass from a conversational role that I have as a person? But of course also what do I have to do? What is my obligation as a CEO of a benevolent foundation? So I question my own identity.
For people like Dr. Bernhard Straub, CEO of the Robert Bosch Foundation, solidarity is not passive. It's a decision to act strategically, responsibly, and visibly.
Of course, as a foundation, we look at impact. Whatever we do is supposed to have an impact that changes people's lives, and not just people's lives in terms of nations, not only at the abstract level, but also at the individual level. Robert Bosch, when he said be human and respect human dignity, which is the core value of our foundation, he didn't just mean it in terms of the United Nations. Yeah? He meant, personal conversations. How do we deal with individual people? The days have come where a foundation is not enough anymore only to work for the good and to say we are for this and for that, for dignity, for togetherness, for a peaceful and just society. The days have come when we need to take a stance against what is wrong.
Ukraine is teaching us lessons, but those lessons are hard-won on the battlefield. So let's start there. Prior to the war, Bohdan Bunchak was an artist from a family of priests. He's a calm and warm man and a person that never considered picking up a gun before the full-scale invasion. When he was sent to training, the officers selected him to become a frontline commander because of his charisma and leadership qualities. But he quickly learned that leadership in the face of death means more than strategy, more than grit and strength. It means optimism as duty.
As a commander of group, you constantly should be in a good mood. Yeah, it's like it's your responsibility, it's your obligation, kind of. Yeah, it's mandatory, I should say, because feelings of despair is the first thing that kill you there. Everyone is constantly watching you, and you're the one person who have walkie-talkie and on the constant contact with your command. And if your personnel are not informed or they have no clue what's going on around, they immediately dismorale and yeah. So you should be like joking, kidding, and like, hey guys, everything will be okay, no worries, and so on and so forth. But at the same time, you should be seriously take care of your people till the point you can. So there is a lot of situation when you can't, obviously, but still, yeah, nice mood when you're like, yeah, I will just duck in this trench and I will waiting for what? Waiting for like mine will blow up somewhere in 2 meters from you. No, it's not the thing that you can think and do. So it's about the mental state, basically, all the time. If you're in a good mood, it's better for you. It's better for you.
But optimism will not save a soldier from the constant fear of deadly drones, impossible situations, and witnessing horrific events on the battlefield. Bogdan had to make life and death decisions. In one of those situations, he organized a group of soldiers to retrieve an ammunition drop, but there was a drone attack.
In one moment, there is 7 people really close one to another, and the drone are constantly somewhere, like all around you, and recognize this group of people, and mines start falling. And these 5 guys, I just direct them like to go, and we with Kasper, I just took these boxes with ammunition, and I don't know, walked through like 10 meters or 15, and there is explosion really close to us. And in one moment, I just turn back, and I see like he's on the ground. There's like a big wound on Kasper's body. I see these bones, I see his lungs. I trying to help him, and he's a big guy, even bigger than me. I try to carry him like to this trench, try to make like first aid, but he died there. I mean, for me, it's all about like, I decided, like I asked him like, will help me there? And that's all. So it's pretty much about this feeling, not the shame, because it's not about the shame, it's all about guilt.
After Bogdan was discharged from the army, for a long time he faced feelings, the depths of which he had never before experienced.
I mean, first year and a half after I was dismissed from service after being like harshly injured was pretty tough time, because I was stable in my awful mood, but stable. I was asking God, like, I need something more than this experience, because if there will be not something more, there is like 2 ways. I will probably return to the service, because you want to finish it. Like you don't have like this desire to continue to live with this guilt, with this nightmares, constantly triggered by something and so on and so forth. So it's really harsh.
Today, Bogdan is leading a program for Ukrainian veterans called Vilno, and he's again practicing his art, producing videos based on his battlefield experiences.
When you are opposed to so much violence, on some moment you want to get it out of yourself, like it's like psychological terms. And coping mechanisms are different. One I like in Ukrainian society and which is working a lot, which is humor.
Humor, in fact, is one of Ukraine's quiet strengths. Amid the grief, Ukrainians are exchanging memes just hours after harrowing headlines. As Alona Karavai, cultural manager and co-creator of many initiatives, including Ukrainian NGO Inshos Vita, explains, it's not escapism, but a collective coping mechanism, a kind of laughter that makes space for pain and reminding us of our humanity.
Like when something is happening, like this meeting in Oval Cabinet is happening, and I know in 2 hours I will have full of memes, like everything, and people are just laughing at it, like this is one of the coping mechanisms, like to get it out of yourself. When the aggression is coming to you, you can get this aggression out in terms of auto-aggression, that you can be angry at yourself, or you can be having guilty feelings. And I know many Ukrainian colleagues, including me, that are having that. And sometimes I'm telling, if you would have the second name Ukrainians, this would be guilt. Like you would always be feeling, okay, I have done not enough. I had to be there. I don't know, I left Ukraine. I didn't left Ukraine, but I stay in the safer position. I'm on the front line, but I was there only 2 weeks and so on. We're also working with veterans who are having a lot of guilt feelings, who were there, who have given the most ultimate prize, but they are still coming with guilty feelings out of it that they have not done enough. From other point of view, sometimes it can be like this aggression can come on your neighbor or on somebody that you will feel like, okay, he's not doing it right, and I will tell him or her why they left or why they stay or why they do like that. And this is something what we have to avoid, I think. Like, in a way, it's super complicated to do it because in a way you want to oppose your enemy. You want to see who is responsible for that, but you are out of reach of these people. But you are in a close reach with your close people whom you could blame for something. And this is what we have to really work with, because it's a very, I would not say dangerous situation. It's very human. It's very human. It's very okay. But there are tensions and they have a very human nature, the tensions.
Alona describes a reality that defies linear planning and requires new ways of thinking about time and work.
There is no post-war recovery. There is during war recovery, which is happening in a non-linear way, and we cannot wait it to be over and then to start with the recovery. It's not possible, which is also meaning to us that some of the approaches which are already there and which are based on a linear and clear project management basis are not 100% relevant for us, because we, in a way, do many things simultaneously, and the things which had to be linear or which has to be consecutive, we are doing them simultaneously, not because we want to, but this is how it is. Now we are on this historical moment when we have to face it, to face it with dignity, do something with that. We will be failing on many moments, and it's okay. Because we thought it would be a sprint, and now on the way we see, okay, it's still a marathon.
Natalia Martynenko, junior manager of Foundations for Ukraine, shares her personal marathon of sorts, her way of coping in steady motion to quiet the chaos.
I can walk and walk for hours from the beginning of the full-scale invasion, which recently I got the name from some memes that were shared around the social media, but which is called mental health walk. When I really struggle with all this news that are coming from every all kinds of sources, then I really the only thing for me that I can cope with the situation, I can just go outside of my home and go for a really very long walk for hours. For example, recently where there was this meeting of Zelensky and Trump in the White House. After that, on Saturday, I walked 17 kilometers around Berlin, everywhere. And really, this is something that helps me to switch off my mind.
For many Ukrainians, mental health walks, grassroots art, and peer support circles have become lifelines. For Anastasia Petrova, a program lead at Beetroot Academy, it's not a luxury. It's survival strategy. High-performing Ukrainians are learning. You cannot give from an empty cup. Some organizations have begun building sabbaticals and mental health provisions into their core values. A quiet revolution within a crisis.
Last year, 2024, I felt that I have zero energy, motivation, was looking at emails and could only close them, was no wish to answer, though I'm interested in the topic. But I felt mentally really exhausted. But I took 1 month break in January, a little sabbatical to restore, to travel, to read, and it helped a lot. So I experienced it, and I think a lot of people are not noticing these symptoms, and maybe we have this work culture in Ukraine that you need to be always present, always active, but and a lot of people just think, okay, a short vacation or weekend will help, but actually when you accumulate this lack of high quality rest, can really affect your work. So I think a lot of organizations should be aware of that.
Ukraine is redefining what it means to lead in wartime, sharing innovations in mental health, veterans care, and social cohesion. As Markus Lux, Vice President of Special Division Ukraine at Bosch Foundation, reminds us, Ukraine isn't just surviving, it's teaching.
Ukraine is not only a country and a nation in need. It is, of course, and it will be in the next years in the reconstruction. It is a country and a nation who could give back. We could exchange, we could learn, we could give and receive. They are leapfrogging in so many things, not only in military technology or in prosthesis. Also, they will be number one in the world, or are already number one in the world, yeah. But also in societal things and in other inventions. So let's have a look from a different perspective on Ukraine. As a country, we could learn and could gain something back. And I give you just one example. Again, the whole mental health issue. The Ukrainian government, from the very first day, are very open with the situation they face. They talk about millions of people. Did you ever have heard in the US, in Germany, not talking about Russia, that a country in a conflict situation is openly announcing that they have a problem with mental health and trauma, especially with their soldiers, but also with violence at home, with women and these things? They do it openly for the first time in history.
In this first episode of the Commit podcast, we've heard the voices of commanders, cultural managers, as well as foundation and NGO leaders. People not defined by war, but transformed by it. From trauma therapy innovations to civic coordination platforms, Ukraine is offering not only testimony, but tools. And sometimes, those tools include irony, wit, and internet memes. Humor as resistance, connection, and care. As you go, remember that awareness is a form of solidarity. Stay informed, share these voices, ask questions. And if you can, act.
Our work is like acupuncture. It's small needle pricks, but you can heal a complete body if you place those needles properly.
These recordings were made in the spring of 2025 at Ukraine-focused gatherings in Berlin. We met at the Robert Bosch Foundation to discuss organizational resilience in times of crisis. We visited Cafe Kyiv, a large public event on Ukraine, and we talked with veterans the next day. Thank you for listening to this first episode of the Commit podcast. If you found meaning in these voices, subscribe and share. This episode was created by Commit, a Berlin-based international non-profit organization in cooperation with Benjamin Lorch from the Berlin School of Podcasting, with financial support from the Robert Bosch Foundation. The music you heard was created by the Polish band Trio Marzenie. I'm Malvina. Thanks for being here.